Okay, so we're here in the Kollel Toras Chaim in Thornhill, Canada, and Thursday night, Chabura. Welcome everybody, and I hope the cholent is good. So I wanted to bring something today that mamish blew my mind. That we're able to see how what the Rebbe is saying in this Torah and Torah Beis, specifically connected to the inyan of Shabbos, and drawing Shabbos, the Simcha of Shabbos, into the Sheshes Semei HaChol, how we can see where this has sort of a makor in two amazing places, in the Kavanas of the Arizal and from the Baal Shem Tov. So these are two places where obviously Rabbi Nachman, he's a Hamshacha of both of these two, but in particular, he quotes the Kisvei very, very often, and it's one of the things that he made sure that Reb Nosson learned completely, absolutely, inside out, in depth, in order to be able to understand his Torah, was the Kisvei. And of course, he's obviously the Hamshacha of his great grandfather, the Baal Shem Tov, and we could see something amazing over here. So in the Torah, in Sifhei, the Rebbe tells us that we need to draw the Simcha of Shabbos, which he says that Shabbos is a place that has Kedusha and Bracha, and we have to draw that Kedusha and Bracha and Simcha from Shabbos into the 6 days of the week, right? And how do we do that? We do that, he says, through Dibur, which we're not going to quite understand today, but Lamaisa, practically speaking, right? What does it mean to bring Shabbos into the weekday, right? So if you look, it's very interesting. So if you take Biyam Darkecha on Shabbos, so he brings over here many parts of the Biyam Darkecha are. So first of all, Biyam Darkecha is a sefer written by one of the Talmidim of Reb Itchamar Morgenstern. And he says in the beginning of the Sefer, really, that everything that he has is from the Torah of Rabbi Shemar. And he writes it in a way that it's very easy to understand. But one of the things that he does particularly well is he takes very often, it's ki'ilu, he's taking the kavanas of the Arizal, the Kabbalistic intentions of the Arizal, and putting them into a practical package. Here's exactly how you do it, right? Like a regular person, you can do it like this. Sometimes he'll bring deeper things with the Shemus, with the names of Hashem, but he says, that's okay, if you can do that, you can do that. But if not, here's a practical way to connect to the kavanas of the Arizal in the things that we do, right? So he starts off by saying that how does the kavanas of the Arizal begin in Shar Kavanas, the kavanas of Shabbos? How does it begin? So he begins by saying that Shar Kavanas Shabbos begins Motzei Shabbos, right? It begins Motzei Shabbos. That's the first section of Shabbos in the Kavanas of the Arizal. And the whole point that he's bringing is how specifically to do this, is to draw the Or of Shabbos into the weekday. So a few things that we can see over here. So first of all, he makes a very big recognition, something that I know for sure Shmuel and I have talked about, but many people feel that comes Motzei Shabbos, and we can have a serious crash. We had this amazing Shabbos, right, full of davening and learning and Kedushas Shabbos, and then Motzei Shabbos, we can crash. So he's going to acknowledge that, and we're going to read inside a few things. But he says, first and foremost, most people look at Motzei Shabbos as like the end of Shabbos. It's the finish. We're done, right? So he says like this: Ella, Adarabba. We shouldn't think that way. Comes Motzei Shabbos, we have to strengthen ourselves with the Amunah in the Yichud Hashem, the oneness of Hashem, even more. Even I have to believe and understand that even if I don't see the light of Hashem now in this world, in the weekdays, just like it did on Shabbos, it doesn't change reality. Hashem is found now, b'diuk kamoi kodim, exactly the way he was during Shabbos. Ani mechubar umakusher v'davok itoy oisei davar b'diuk. And I'm mechubar, connected to Hashem, exactly the same way I was on Shabbos. He says in other places that what's the difference? It's just that when the weekday comes, things are covered up, and we don't see them the way that we saw them before. But Hashem is there the exact same way, right? Right, so he says, so ma lasais imakoishi shemurgash b'motzei Shabbos. So what do we do with this difficulty that we experience motzei Shabbos? How do we deal with it? So hayidei havanazu. So for understanding this, ha'adam lo yipol mehargashas hakoishi sheyesh b'motzei Shabbos. You won't fall down because of this feeling of difficulty that you have motzei Shabbos. Ella. So what do we have to do? You ready for this? Yachlit liftoyach ba'avodah. Decide, make a decision that I'm going to begin now the week with an avodah. Im she'ifa u'matara chadasha, with a new aspiration and a new goal. Bli lasim lev l'kashim. I don't care if things feel difficult right now. It's not what's up. V'yachlit lahamshich lichos im Hashem yisbarach kamei b'Shabbos. I'm deciding. I am not letting go of Shabbos. I'm going to live now with Hashem just like I lived with Him on Shabbos. This really is the answer. Is for many great people, shemargishim b'motzei Shabbos techusha kasha, who feel on motzei Shabbos a feeling of tremendous difficulty. Shel choshech u'bilbul, darkness and confusion. V'yesh b'nei aliyah. This is important. Yesh b'nei aliyah. B'nei aliyah means people who are plugged in people, who are really working, who are, into growth. They're accomplishing. Yeah, they're into growth. Shemamish margishim she'atzvus gadol noifelas aleihem la'achar Shabbos. They mamish feel depression, sadness comes onto them on motzei Shabbos. Why? This is very sweet. Kikivan shenafsham hisanga me'oid mekdusha Shabbos. Since their souls felt mamish tremendous spiritual pleasure on Shabbos, azay memela kasher ha'or ne'ela mimeno. So then, for sure, when the light becomes hidden from them now, ze me'oid kashala. It's very difficult for them. So sometimes it's the people who are even more plugged in on Shabbos, comes motzei Shabbos, and they're going to experience tremendous difficulty, right? So he says, we got to decide after Shabbos, on motzei Shabbos, to say, that's it, I'm not going back. I'm not giving up on Shabbos. I'm not giving up on Hashem. I'm taking it with me, right? This is what he's saying over here. So there's a few aspects. Listen to this. So, Havdalah, right? There's three main parts of Havdalah, three main maisim in Havdalah. We got the kiddush, the wine. We got the besamim and the ner, right? So, in the Kavanas of the Ari, he explains that these three things are really there meant to specifically point to this inyan, that we're taking Shabbos with us. We're not letting go of Shabbos, right? He says like this. What's pshat with wine? So the Indian is al pi Kabbalah, and a hither, not al pi halacha, but a hither is that you should use wine that has alcohol in it for Havdalah. So what's pshat? So al pi the Ari, it's like this. Listen to this. V'alzeh mor hayayin shel Havdalah. This is what the wine of Havdalah teaches us. Ki yayin yesh boy resicha. Wine has a warmth to it. Like the alcohol, it has warmth. It gives you a little bit of a buzz. Whatever it does, what it does, right? This is what wine does. It's telling us, just like this wine is not just grape juice that's dead. It has chiyus to it. It has koyach. It has heat. It has warmth. We have to now, right now, motzei Shabbos, decide I'm ready to move on with his lavos. And I'm not going to make the mistake of now chilling out with my avodas Hashem, right? Motzei Shabbos. Because I know that everything is Hashem. So when I make the bracha on the wine, says the Arizal, alcohol to give you the kavana to remember that I'm starting now a new avodah. This is a new avodah of the coming week, and I'm taking Shabbos with me. I'm not letting go. I'm not giving up. Right? Next, the besamim. What's pshat with the besamim? So al pi the Arizal, once again, the besamim are supposed to be on hadassim, and the hadassim, it should be 3 sticks of hadassim for Havdalah. Okay? So by the way, in my house, I use the Hadassim, but we have, the Ashkenazim have the minig to say Borim Mine Besamim. And really, it's not the exact right bracha to say on that. So I have a regular Besamim thing and the 3 Hadassim. So I can make Mine Besamim on the mixture of the Mine Besamim. And then I also have the Hadassim, right? And what's pshat with Hadassim? So it's like this. The kavanah is like this. Tikaven ki shloishes Hadassim elu hem keneged nefesh, ruach, and neshama.
Why can't you say that?
What? The minig of Ashkenazim is to say Borei Mine Besamim. Yeah. Like it's the girsa of Havdalah. And if al pi halacha, we should stick to it. But yeah. V'tichaven, shlosh hadasim elu, hem keneged nefesh, ruach, neshama. V'tichaven lahashir lecha koyach min toisefes nefesh, ruach, and neshama shenizras v'lei b'Shabbos. We should have kavanah that, we have a neshama yisera, we call it, on Shabbos. That and he explains in other places, what's the concept of having this extra neshama on Shabbos? The neshama yisera is like an extra keli. It's like a bigger keli. That through that, we're able to draw more from HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Shabbos. Right? So the 3 Hadassim, nefesh, ruach, represent the nefesh, ruach, and neshama of our neshama yisera. But really, it's all 3. And our kavanah should be that I don't want to let go of it. I'm not letting go. I want to lahashir. I want to keep and remaining with me these aspects of my deeper self. I'm not letting go of Shabbos. I refuse, he's saying. Right? So he says, so now Motzei Shabbos, we're going out from the Kedusha Shabbos. Now it's potential that the light of Shabbos is going to be lost. So we have to do some type of action to help to cause that to stay with us, that we don't lose this light. Shetishar lanu ha'asaga v'ha'akara v'hargasha ha'gavoya hazu shezachinu l'Shabbos. I want to keep this with me. So he's saying 4 things over here, which we'll speak about in a second. 4 aspects. V'zeh na'aseh yedei ha'reach shel ha'besamim. How do we do this? Through the scent of the basamim. Shehem shleisha hadassim, which is the 3 hadassim, ha'mechuvanim keneged nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Right? V'oimek ha'inyanhu. So what's the juice over here? What's the depth of this idea? Why is it like this? Shehareach hu koyach ruchani. Because as we know, smell is the most ruchniistic sense that we have. Right? It's not really there. You can't see it. You can't really understand where it comes from, right? You have these 3 sticks of hadassim, it's 3 branches from a tree. Right? And he says, Shenimtzu b'panimius hadas oy habesamim. It's in there on the inside. You can't see it. It's the panemius. The smell is a panemiustic inyan. V'humayra la'adam lizkar. And it's teaching us that we have to remember now at Havdalah, shebechol davar yesh or panimi. That everything that we come in contact with has an or panimi, an inner light existence. And not only that, it's the ikar of everything in existence. Is the or from Shem that gives it existence. Rather that it's hidden inside it. So just like this is amazing, right? In the halachas of the brachas of birchas hareach, right? So certain things, like flowers or like certain fruits. Why don't we make a bracha on every fruit that we have to smell it first, right? Or certain flowers. Why we don't make a bracha on all these things, right? But there is a bracha on noisein reach tov b'peres. So shouldn't we try to first, every time we have an apple, smell it, make one bracha, then eat it, make another bracha, right? Sounds like people would make a brachas party and do this. Right? So why not? Why don't we do it? So one of the halachas is, and it affects different things in different ways, but it has to be that the main inyan of that thing is smell. The ikar of that thing is smell. Right? So first of all, you have this hadas, and it has an amazing, powerful fragrance. It doesn't look like it should have it. You can't see it, but it has this powerful fragrance. Not only that, the fragrance is the ikar of the hadassim. You don't taste it. It doesn't look that nice. Right? The main inyan of it is that. So it's teaching us that just like this hadas has this koyach panimi, an inner nature of it is the smell, so too everything in existence has a panemius. And that panemius of that thing is the or eloki, is the godly light that is there. Not only that, it's the ikar of everything. Everything exists only from the Or Eloki that's inside it. So another thing, that this is another way that the Hadas is teaching us, that I'm not leaving this concept of Yichud Hashem, Achdus HaPashit, of Shabbos in Shabbos. I'm taking it with me. Right now, I'm deciding I'm going to do this. Right? Gets very depressing, by the way, this concept. I'll say in a second. The last one is by the Ner, right? Of Havdalah. So what's pshat over here? So he says, I'll pee the kavanas of the Ari. So when you make the bracha on the Eish, so what do? You look at your fingernails, right? But he says there's a specific way to do it. According to the Ari, you're supposed to put your thumb inside and wrap your four fingers around it. And then those 4 fingers are supposed to be like this, facing towards your face and towards the Ner. So like the Ner's here, right? So you hold it like this, so you're looking at it, and it's also facing towards the candles, according to the Kavanas of the Rebbe. So he explains that the Kavana is that the Or, the Ner, represents the Shechina, right? And the Shechina really represents the Pnimius of everything. It's the Ribbon Shalom, the presence of Hashem. And the 4 fingers, represent an inyan of chitzonius, which means externality, right? So I think there could be a pashat pshat, just that our hands and our fingers are the things that do the avodah. They're what we work with, right? He doesn't say that, but I think that could be a pashat pshat. But he says that also the 4 fingers represents these 4 types of malachim that are referred to by the acronym of Argaman, okay? But he says the malachim, what do malachim represent? They're not the Shechina. They are specifically the way that Hashem interacts in the physical world, the revealed world. The malachim make things happen, right? So what are we doing? We're taking these 4 aspects of chitzoniuskait, of externality, and we're making them kafuf, bent over and subdued to the Or of the Shekhinah, to the Pnimius. We're saying that I'm not going to go into this week living a life of chitzoniuskait, of externalities and living like the world is just what it appears to be and that's it. My week now is going to be that aspect of externality is totally batal, kafuf, subdued to the Or HaShechina, which is the Pnimius of everything. I'm taking the life of Pnimius from Shabbos and I'm taking it with me into the week. Right? So this is the first place that we see.
You're supposed to see the fire in the nails, right?
Oh yeah?
Like, I'm saying you're supposed to.
Yeah. I hear.
So to see in the chitzonius.
In the chitzonius, the
Pnimius. The Pnimi in the chitzonius.
Oh, very good.
That's not what he says?
Maybe. I didn't see it. If he does, that's awesome. And if not, that's a shmoli vort. It's okay. Yeah. Nice. So, but you hear the guys. So the difficulty is, or the part that's a little bit has a little bit of pressure to it, right? Is that he's telling us something here, and he tells us if you do this, it's going to work. It's going to change your week, and the reason why it starts, why the Kavanas Vidari start at Motzei Shabbos, is because you have to draw Shabbos into the weekday in order to make the weekday, that week, something special. And then from that, the next Shabbos will be higher. And it continues to go higher and higher like this, right? But you have to begin by pulling Shabbos into the week to make the week great in order to make the next Shabbos great. Yeah? But so what do we do? Like it's such a glaring lack I'll say for myself. And I won't say anything bad about anyone else. But very often we come to Havdalah and we're like, let's make Havdalah. Okay, let's finish Havdalah already. I want to go check my phone. Right? That's the first thing that many people do, is go to check the phone, right? What's going on in the world? What am I doing tonight? Right? What can I do? Now Shabbos is finished. Now I can rest. Right? Now I can rest. People, I don't know what people do. Watch movies, I don't know, other things, whatever. Right? So you could take this stuff and you could make an amazing Havdalah. Just if you stop, give yourself, you can explain it to your family, if that works. and you could say, listen guys, this is what Havdalah is all about. And then not run directly into the shtusin of Olam Hazeh, of the Sheish Sameachol. Right? It's an avodah that is tremendously powerful, and it's obviously one of the things Rabbi Nachman's talking about. How do you don't draw Kedusha Shabbos into the weekday by going straight to the phone, watching sports, or doing whatever people do. It doesn't work. You're cutting off Shabbos. You're saying Shabbos is done. Now I can go do what I really want. It's painful to say, but this is one aspect, right?
So what do you do?
What?
What do you do?
You say Havdalah like we're saying over here, and you take it with you, and then you go, like you're saying over here. You go, and that's going to take you to a place where now maybe I'll learn, maybe I'll sit with Melev Malka with my wife. Maybe my wife is makbid to make a Melev Malka, and I try to sit with her, right? Maybe you could learn a bit. You could do whatever. You could do some good things, whatever it is. Like I would say, call your mother. Something that's not just going back into Olam Hazeh and the Sheish Yisrael Chol, right? So that's on the one end. That's Motzei Shabbos, and that's where I see this amazing aspect that Rabbi Nachman is really explaining something that we saw previously in the Arizal, and like we're saying, he brings it in a much more global, deep, connective way. When the Arizal explains it, it's very kind of cut and dry. It's like real Kabbalah, you know. Rabbi Nachman opens it up in an extremely deep way. But so the other part is, and this is something totally amazing. So, like this, in the Biyam Darkecha, he has a certain section on the Hachanas before Shabbos, where he talks about the mikveh Erev Shabbos, cutting your nails Erev Shabbos. What else? Mikveh, cutting your nails. Yeah, rechitzas chamin, shower, toyamea, right? He talks about all these things that are Kabbalistic concepts and Hasidic concepts. Rechitza l'kavod Shabbos, Sheina, Erev Shabbos, sleep, having a nap, whatever it is, right? Oh, yeah. Malbushei Shabbos, the clothing of Shabbos, all leading up into Shabbos, right? And there's a whole avodah. And I'll say personally, when I have put these things into place, trying to have even a basic level of kavanah, this is like life-changing stuff. It changes your Shabbos completely and everything. It's mamash amazing. But so we have all these things that lead us up to there. Then comes Mincha, Erev Shabbos, right? And so what did Rabbi Nachman's great-great-grandfather, the Baal Shem Tov, institute to say? Is a certain kapitel of Tehillim, right? So he says over here, Habesh Takadosh, Tikein Loimar Mizmor Hoidu, which of course is Tehillim Kuf Zayin, which is of course Arba Tzrichin Lahoides. So Baal Shem Tov instituted to say this kapitel of Tehillim before Mincha on Erev Shabbos. And the whole inyan over here of this Mizmor Hoidu, then Mincha, and then Kabbalah Shabbos is all this thing. Friday night is called in Kabbalah Aliyas Neshamis, Aliyas Halamis, something very, very, very deep. The Kabbalistic ascension, right? It says Upashtas Bir Ha'inyanhu. What's the simple understanding? This is not Rabbi Nachman talking here. Shebezeh ha'adam moida l'Hashem yisbarach al kol ma she'avar alav b'shvua hazeh. The concept of this Tehillim is to thank Hashem for everything that happened to me during this past week. V'hoida hi bein al hadvarim ha'tovim, both on the good things that happened to me. Shetzorich lahakir she'Hashem she'hem ba'u elav rak m'Hashem yisbarach. I have to recognize that those good things only happened to me from Hashem, not koichi v'otzim yadi, right? V'gam lahoidos al ma she'nira ra, and also to thank Hashem for those things that appear to be ra. Mitoich hakara beyichud Hashem, from a place of a recognition of the oneness of Hashem. Achdus hapashet. Mitoich yediyah behira she'hakol me'ito yisbarach. A yediyah be'ira, a complete, clear das, that everything is from Hashem. V'akol l'toiv ha'gamar. And everything, Demura, everything is for the good completely. The whole Indian he's saying of this Tehillim, Kuf Zayin, that we say, Mincha, Erev Shabbos, is to recognize and thank Hashem that the whole entire week, everything that happened was from Him.
That's not the one, Tov Lahodos. That's not.
No.
Okay.
Different one. It starts, Hoidu L'Hashem Kitayv, Ki Lohem Chastoi. Yeah. And then it's the Arba Tzrichin L'Hoides. Right? And so then he goes on to say like this. He goes on to say, so there's basically, he explains over here. So you know how you have, Kabbalistically, there's these 4 universes, yeah? Of Asiya, Yetzira, Beriah, and Atzilus. Everybody's heard of these before? Yeah? And so, during Tefillah, for example, we elevate through these universes. From the beginning of Shacharis, and it's the Olam Asiya, then by, what's it called? By Pesukei Zimra, it goes to Yetzira. By the beginning of Shacharis, it's Beriah, and then by Shemon Esrei, it's Atzilus. Okay, so we're always spiritually transversing these olamas. What the Darkecha does that's so awesome is that he explains, what does that mean? How do I experience that? Like, what does it mean, me experiencing the Olam Asiya? Right? Yeah, it's right now. So he says like this, that the first level of the Olam Asiya is Hakara b'Hashem Yisparach u'mitoich zeh. So it's recognizing Hashem, and from this, the Kabbalah, Emuna u'Kabbalas oil. The lowest level is Emuna, right? And Kabbalas oil. Just accepting to do the Ratzon Hashem, even though I don't feel it. That's the first and lowest level of the Olam Asiya. The second level, Olam Asiya, is Hakara Amuka Yoser, a deeper recognition of Hashem. And from that, to take on to myself, Ahava Yira Devekus. It's now to do Avodas Hashem, but now with Hargasha. I feel love, fear, and Devekus. The third one of the Olam Abriya is Hakara Amuka Yoser, an even deeper connection to Hashem, recognition of Hashem. And from there, accepting Hishtoikakus, V'hislavus u'bitul hayesh. Now I'm going to serve Hashem through the midah of Hishtoikakus, longing. I'm dying to get close to Hashem, right? Hishtoikakus, Hislavus, passion, and bitul hayesh, like there's nothing else. I want Hashem. And the final one of the Olam Atzilus is the madrega of bitul Hashem Yisparach, of being completely enveloped within Hashem, right? So each one of these continues throughout from this point of Mincha of Shabbos, of Hoidu before, through Mincha, through Kabbalah Shabbos, especially in Mizmor LeDavid, in Kabbalah Shabbos, goes through these 4. And he explains, why do we keep going through these 4? Because it's not like you think that you have a kavanah one time and now you're done. It's these things, as we go through them, it continues to build the spiritual reality within us every time we do it. But the way that he says it by Hoidu, it's so awesome, is he says that when I say this thing of Hoidu, and I'm thinking about the week that I had, I have to imagine in the first aspect, and there's Arba Tzrichen Loives, there's 4 aspects to it, and there's 4 levels that it goes through, according to the Arizal, the Baal Shem Tov after the Arizal, right? So I have to think now, where throughout my week did I serve Hashem, and I didn't do it even on the lowest level? I didn't have Kabbalah's oil or Emunah. Like, where did I, one day I didn't go to Shacharis at all. No Kabbalah's oil whatsoever. Now, coming into Shabbos, I'm drawing that, I'm allowing Shabbos to be misakein that, to lift that up. So it's drawing Shabbos into the week from the other side, from the beginning of Shabbos. Now coming into Shabbos, my Shabbos lifts that up and is masakein it and puts it up to where it should have been, where I should have had Kabbalah's oil and Amunah. This is what my kavana is from the Baal Shem Tov in Mizmar Hoidu, Al Pi Kavanas Arizal. Right? And same to the second level. So every day I went to Shacharis. I'm just using Shacharis as the example. Every day I went to Shacharis. But you know what? I was just, let's get ready to mumble, right? And I didn't have any hargashas. I was just blabbing my way through it, right? Okay, maybe one day I had tremendous hargasha, but now my coming into Shabbos is going to lift the week up and be masake in those times. And so too with the other 4, right? So what do we see then? We see that the way he's explaining it is that drawing the Kedusha, Bracha, and Simcha of Shabbos into the weekdays happens both, the Darkecha is telling us, at the end of Shabbos and at the beginning of Shabbos. And it happens at the end through Motzei Shabbos, Ma'ariv, through Havdalah, through Melava Malka. All these things that I do, each one is specifically there, according to the Arizal, to pull Shabbos, to keep Shabbos, to not let go, and to pull Shabbos into the weekday. Says the Baal Shem Tov, says Yom Darkecha, understanding how the Baal Shem Tov is Masakin Hoidu, Arba Tzrichin Lahoidois, is I have to look back at my week and understand that Hashem was always there. Just like this is the Koyach of Shabbos, is the Achdus HaPashet, right? And what does it tell us? The deeper understanding of this whole Torah really seems to be the overarching connector of everything is really that everything is Hashem. Recognizing and living with that everything is Hashem. In Olam Haba, right? It's the Hakara that everything is Ribono Shel Olam, right? In Shabbos here, that's our experience that everything is Ribono Shel Olam, and we're drawing Shashu Olam Haba into Olam Hazeh through Hoida, and now the Baal Shem Tov told us go and say Mizmor Hoidu before Shabbos. Why? Because that's putting Shabbos into the weekday beforehand by lifting everything up. Remembering and thanking for the past, now it's going to allow me, just like Reb Nosson said, right, in the Likutei Halachas, it's going to allow me now to go into this place of Shabbos and davening and tefillah and bring Shabbos up like this, right? So it's Ki'ilu. This is the thing that when I thought about it, Mamash blew my mind. It's Ki'ilu. Rabbi Nachman is being Mamshich, maybe you could call it, it's a Perush, it's a further explanation, and he's being Mechadesh in this inyan of his great-grandfather, Baal Shem Tov made Arba Tzrichin Lahodos a part of Shabbos, a part of coming into Shabbos, a part of elevating this world into Olam Haba, the weekdays into Shabbos. Right? This is what the Baal Shem Tov did. And Rabbi Nachman brought it over here and explained to us that this is how you do it. This is how you do it at the beginning of Shabbos. Right? So anyway, I think it's very sweet, and there's so much more to say, because really, I think you can take this inyan, like many of them, and you can put it into every single sif of this Torah Beis and Tinyana, and see how the inyan of Achdus HaPashet and Pulos Mishtanes is there in each one. You could see how Olam Haba and Olam Hazeh is there in each one. How Kedusha Shabbos and Sheish Mechol is in each one, right? And it's nice to see that when you see the words of Rabbi Nachman, you see the very, very same conceptual idea in the Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov, which we always see as that Rabbi Nachman is a Hamshacha of them. So there's this thing in Breslov that it's they say that there's certain neshamas that continue a pathway, and it goes Moshe. There's 5: Moshe Rabbeinu, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the Arizal, the Baal Shem Tov, and what? No, and Rabbi Nachman. Chide Toras. And so what are we just seeing over here? Something amazing. First of all, Moshe Rabbeinu is in this Torah also. Shimon, I'm not sure, but this is the whole flow, right? Going through this, we're at least seeing you have the Arizal, you have the Baal Shem Tov, and Rabbi Nachman, all as a continuation, and you come to this Torah and you see that Rabbi Nachman presents it in a way that is like beyond. Mamish beyond. Something so big and so powerful and so all-encompassing that it brings it into a whole new thing. What do you got, Shmuley?
Nachman ben Simcha. That's Reb Shimon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so anyway, that's the word that I wanted to give over today. Any comments? Or additions? Or...
You're still recording. We're all very.
You could be recorded. It's
so
okay.
I heard. I was talking with my brother-in-law also on this trip, and we were talking about this Torah a little bit, and it was on Shabbos actually.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this Indian of drawing Shabbos into the week, and he quoted from Izzy. They're living a different Torah, but
yeah.
You know, the concepts come up again and again. But he was saying, and I don't know if I ever heard this before. He was saying that in Breslov, it's not a big thing to extend Shabbos extra long. Why? Because if you're really living all of these solutions properly, all of these eitzes properly, there's no difference.
Right.
There's no difference. It's like, okay, it's Havdalah, we're going from Shabbos to Chol, but like, you're living Shabbos and Chol anyway.
Awesome.
So there's no, this Yerida that, you know, lowly people like me experience on Motzei Shabbos,
Yeah.
and then going into the week isn't a thing.
Right.
It's just not a thing.
The Shabbos in my phone.
Huh?
What?
It's the Shabbos in my phone in my car.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's the Indian. We should be still in Shabbos. Wow,
And I
that's
remember-
very cool.
Yeah, and I remember Rav Mata said when he was making Havdalah, his Havdalahs in Uman are epic. They're like 30 to 40 minutes long. He gives drushes in the middle of Havdalah. It's unbelievable. I think he said similar to this, that like the idea of Havdalah is not just like you're going from here to here. He said, no, the idea is that you're breaking off from Shabbos and you're bringing it into week with you.
Right.
The way he said it.
I was telling them upstairs also. I didn't see it inside anymore, but it's like from the lashon of Havdalah. Like Havdalah means a separation, right? But also when you say like if you have a pile of something, of money over here, I'm gonna take a portion of it. I'm gonna be mavdil from that pile over here, right? Like to be mavdil is also to take a portion of it. So in that sense, Havdalah is not like Shabbos is over. It's I'm being mavdil from Shabbos with me. I'm taking it with me, right? I want to take it with me into the week.
You can also say.
Amazing. So the question is like the practical. You know how we always say that klal number 4 of the Chai Kollel is that you have to follow the advice of the Torah in order to be able to understand it, right? So we all have to do something now, Motzei Shabbos, and be heilig, do something. What are we going to do? So maybe a long Havdalah to remind ourselves, or a thoughtful Havdalah. By the way, I feel like wives, many of our wives and children, if you tell this over, these things, aspects of Havdalah, maybe one each week instead of all together. I think they would eat it up.